12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos by Jordan Peterson. Introduction, Order and Chaos. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life emerged from his answer to a question on Quora about life principles. What began as a simple list evolved into a profound exploration of how to navigate the fundamental tension between order and chaos that defines human existence. Peterson, a clinical psychologist and professor, draws on mythology, religion, psychology, and evolutionary biology to present practical wisdom for living a meaningful life. The central theme is that life is suffering, but that suffering can be made bearable and meaningful through the adoption of responsibility and the pursuit of truth. Peterson argues that modern society has abandoned time-tested wisdom in favor of ideology, leaving many people adrift. These 12 rules offer a path back to meaning. Rule 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Peterson begins with an unexpected example. Lobsters. These ancient creatures have hierarchical nervous systems remarkably similar to ours. When a lobster wins a fight, its brain is flooded with serotonin, making it confident and tall. Losers become hunched and timid. This same neurochemical dance occurs in humans. Your posture isn't just physical, it's a statement to the world and to yourself about your place in the hierarchy. When you stand up straight, you signal competence and confidence. This isn't about arrogance, but about accepting the burden of being itself. By presenting yourself as someone capable and deserving of respect, you create a positive feedback loop. Others treat you better, opportunities arise, and your neurochemistry reinforces your upward trajectory. The deeper meaning goes beyond body language. Standing up straight means accepting responsibility for your existence, facing the inevitable suffering of life with courage rather than resentment. It means deciding that despite everything, you are going to be a force for good in the world. This decision transforms you physiologically and psychologically, preparing you to bear life's difficulties with dignity. Rule 2. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Peterson notes a curious fact. People are better at giving medication to their dogs than taking it themselves. We care for others with diligence we don't apply to our own lives. Why? Because we know ourselves intimately, including our faults, failures, and shameful thoughts. We see others more charitably. This rule asks you to reconsider your relationship with yourself. You are someone's responsibility, your own. Would you treat someone you care about the way you treat yourself? Would you let them eat poorly, avoid necessary medical care, surround themselves with toxic people, or waste their potential? The biblical injunction to love your neighbor as yourself assumes you love yourself appropriately, not narcissistically, but as a valuable person capable of good and deserving of care. When you treat yourself well, you become capable of more. You can then offer more to your family, community, and the world. Self-care isn't selfish. It's the foundation of being able to help others effectively. Ask yourself, what would be truly good for you? Not what would make you happy in the moment, but what would strengthen you for the challenges ahead. Then do that thing, as if you were helping someone you deeply care about. Rule 3. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Not everyone in your life wants you to succeed. This is a hard truth. Some people are invested in your failure because your success threatens their worldview or highlights their own lack of progress. Others are drowning and will pull you under in their desperation. Peterson isn't advocating for abandoning people who are struggling. He's warning against relationships where your genuine attempt to help is met with sabotage, where the other person actively resists improvement. These relationships are characterized by a pattern. You try to help, They reject your help while demanding more, and they resent any success you achieve. Surround yourself with people who support your upward aim. These are friends who celebrate your victories, who call you out when you're making excuses, and who want to rise alongside you. They don't encourage your worst impulses or enable your destructive habits. Instead, they hold you accountable to your better self. This doesn't mean surrounding yourself only with successful people or abandoning old friends who hit rough patches. It means honestly evaluating whether your relationships are reciprocal and growth-oriented. If someone consistently drags you toward chaos and resentment rather than order and meaning, you may need to create distance. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, and you'll exhaust yourself trying. Rule 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is. Today, the modern world presents infinite opportunities for unfavorable comparisons. Social media shows you people who are richer, more attractive, more successful, and seemingly happier. This creates a treadmill of inadequacy where you can never measure up because there's always someone ahead. Peterson offers a different approach. Measure yourself against your own potential. Who were you yesterday? What small improvement can you make today? The goal isn't to be the best in the world, but to be better than you were. This requires honesty. You need to acknowledge where you actually are, which can be painful. But once you accept your starting point without resentment or denial, you can chart a realistic path forward. Set a goal that's challenging but achievable. When you reach it, set another. These small victories compound over time. This approach also respects the uniqueness of your circumstances. You're not playing someone else's game. Your history, talents, limitations, and goals are your own. Trying to be someone else is futile and alienating. Being a better version of yourself is both possible and deeply satisfying. The question isn't whether you're winning by external standards. It's whether you're moving toward a goal that matters to you, whether you're developing your character and competence, whether you're taking responsibility for your particular life. Rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Children aren't born civilized. They're bundles of impulse, desire, and emotion that must be carefully shaped into functional adults. This is the parent's responsibility, and it's difficult work. Peterson argues that modern parenting often avoids this duty. Parents fear damaging their children's self-esteem or crushing their spirits. But a child who is never corrected becomes an insufferable tyrant that even their parents struggle to love. Worse, that child will be rejected by peers and society, leading to far greater suffering than firm, loving discipline would have caused. The goal of parenting is to produce a child that you genuinely enjoy being around and that others will accept and even welcome. This requires teaching them to share, to control their impulses, to be considerate, and to contribute. It means setting clear boundaries and enforcing them consistently. This isn't about punishment for its own sake. It's about preparing children for reality. The world will not tolerate poor behavior the way an overly permissive parent might. Better for children to learn limits in the safety of a loving home than through harsh rejection later. The principle extends beyond literal parenting. It's about the duty we all have to encourage what's best in others and discourage what's worst. True compassion sometimes means saying no, setting boundaries, and expecting better. Rule 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. When life feels unbearable, it's tempting to blame external forces, the government, capitalism, society, other people. While these critiques may have merit, they often serve as a convenient escape from personal responsibility. Peterson asks you to look first at your own life. Is your room clean? Are your relationships in order? Are you working towards something meaningful? Have you stopped doing things you know are wrong? Until you can honestly say you've optimized what's within your control, you haven't earned the right to blame your problems on the world. This isn't about ignoring injustice or accepting the status quo. It's about recognizing that the most reliable path to improvement starts with yourself. You can control your habits, your attitude, your effort, and your choices. These may seem small compared to grand political questions, but they have immediate effects on your life and the lives of those around you. Moreover, someone who can't manage their own life is poorly positioned to reorganize society. The skills required for personal discipline, honesty, persistence, humility, careful observation are the same ones needed for wise social action. Start where you have the most knowledge and control, your own life. When your own house is in order, your critiques of the world become more credible and more effective. You speak from experience rather than resentment. You offer solutions you've tested rather than untried theories. And you model the change you want to see. Rule 7. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Life is suffering. This isn't pessimism, it's observation. Loss, illness, betrayal, and death are inevitable. The question is how to make this suffering bearable or even worthwhile. One option is to pursue expedience. Do what feels good in the moment, avoid pain, maximize pleasure. This is the path of least resistance. But it leads to emptiness because immediate gratification doesn't produce lasting satisfaction or resilience. The alternative is to pursue meaning. Meaning is found in sacrifice for something greater than yourself. When you delay gratification to achieve a worthy goal, when you take on responsibility for someone else, when you tell the truth despite the cost, you experience meaning. This meaning sustains you through suffering. Peterson argues that meaning is the antidote to the suffering inherent in existence. It's what makes the burden bearable. People can endure almost anything if they have a sense of purpose. Without it, even comfort becomes unbearable. This requires faith, not necessarily religious faith, but faith that acting rightly today will lead to better outcomes tomorrow, that truth and responsibility matter even when they're difficult. It means aligning yourself with the good and trusting that this alignment has ultimate value. The path of meaning often conflicts with the path of expedience. Meaning requires sacrifice, delayed gratification, and enduring difficulty. But it's the only path that leads to a life you can be proud of, a life that justifies its own suffering. Rule 8. Tell the truth. Or, at least, don't lie. Truth is the foundation of reality itself. When you lie, you corrupt your relationship with being. You substitute your limited, self-serving vision for what actually is. This creates chaos. Peterson distinguishes between telling the truth and not lying. Telling the complete truth may be beyond our capacity. Reality is complex, and our understanding limited. But we always know when we're lying. We feel it. We're twisting reality to serve our immediate interests. When you lie, you weaken yourself. You must remember the lie, maintain it, build further lies to support it. You lose track of what's real. You can't trust your own perceptions because you've corrupted them. Over time, you become lost in a maze of your own construction. Conversely, when you commit to truth, you align yourself with reality. This is powerful. You don't waste energy maintaining false narratives. You can observe clearly and respond effectively. People trust you because you're reliable. You trust yourself. This is difficult. Truth often comes with immediate costs. It might embarrass you, disappoint others, or close doors. But lies come with greater long-term costs. They compound, creating increasingly complex problems that become impossible to resolve. Start simply. Don't say things you know to be false. Don't twist or omit information to manipulate. When you speak, mean it. This small commitment ripples outward, transforming your relationships, your work, and your character. Rule 9. Assume that the person you're listening to might know something you don't. In conversation, people often wait for their turn to speak rather than truly listening. They're formulating responses, defending positions, or demonstrating their knowledge. This is a lost opportunity. Peterson argues that genuine listening is a form of exploration. The person speaking might reveal something you've never considered, challenge an assumption you didn't know you held, or offer wisdom from their unique experience. But you'll only receive this gift if you're actually paying attention. Listening deeply requires humility. You must acknowledge that your understanding is incomplete, that you might be wrong, that someone else might see something you've missed. This is threatening to the ego, but necessary for growth. The practice is simple but difficult. When someone speaks, focus entirely on understanding them. Don't interrupt. Don't immediately agree or disagree. Ask clarifying questions. Reflect back what you've heard. Explore their reasoning. Only after fully understanding should you respond. This transforms conversation from competition to collaboration. Both people become smarter than either would be alone. New ideas emerge from the interaction. Problems that seemed intractable become solvable when approached from multiple perspectives. Moreover, people sense when they're truly heard. It's a rare and precious gift. When you offer it, you strengthen relationships and create trust. You also model intellectual humility and curiosity, encouraging others to do the same. Rule 10. Be precise in your speech. Chaos lurks everywhere, waiting to erupt. A vague worry about your relationship can be ignored indefinitely. But when precisely defined, I think my partner is losing respect for me because I haven't pursued my goals, it becomes something you can address. Precision brings the undefined into focus. It transforms the overwhelming into the manageable. When you articulate exactly what's wrong, exactly what you want, exactly what you fear, you give yourself and others something concrete to work with. This requires courage, because precision means confrontation. You can no longer hide behind vagueness. You must face the thing directly. But this confrontation is necessary for resolution. Problems don't solve themselves. They must be specifically identified and addressed. In relationships, precision prevents festering resentment. Instead of nursing vague dissatisfaction, you clearly state what needs to change. This gives the other person a chance to respond. It's fair and efficient. In personal life, precision clarifies goals. I want to be successful is too vague to pursue. I want to complete my certification and apply for management positions within 6 months is specific enough to create a plan. Precision also guards against self-deception. You can't hide from a precisely stated truth. When you clearly articulate your situation, your excuses evaporate. You see what needs to be done. Practice being specific. When something bothers you, define it exactly. When you want something, state it clearly. When you make a commitment, specify the terms. This practice will sharpen your thinking and make you far more effective. Churchill, Rule 11. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. This rule is about allowing necessary risk. Children, especially boys, need to test themselves against danger. They need to develop competence, courage, and the ability to assess risk. Skateboarding and similar activities serves this developmental purpose. Modern safety culture often goes too far, attempting to eliminate all risk from childhood. But a childhood without risk produces adults who are fragile, timid, and incapable. They never learned to fall and get up, to assess danger, to push their limits. Peterson isn't advocating for recklessness. He's arguing for appropriate challenge. Children need opportunities to discover what they're capable of, to develop confidence through mastery. This requires some danger. A playground that's perfectly safe is also perfectly boring and developmentally useless. This principle extends beyond literal children. All people need challenge and risk to grow. A life of complete safety is a life of stagnation. You must venture into the unknown, attempt things you might fail at, and put yourself in situations where you could be hurt. This is how you develop strength. Society benefits when its members are strong and capable. We should encourage people to develop themselves fully, even if this involves risk. The alternative, a population that's been protected into incompetence, is far more dangerous. Trust in people's ability to handle challenge. Don't rush to save them from every difficulty. Sometimes the most caring thing you can do is step back and let someone prove what they're capable of, even if they might get hurt trying. Rule 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Life is genuinely tragic. Loss is inevitable. Suffering is everywhere. If you focus only on what's wrong, you'll be overwhelmed by despair. Peterson's final rule is about appreciating the small good things despite, or especially because of, the tragedy. A cat that allows you to pet it is a moment of pure, uncomplicated goodness. It asks nothing of you, it offers simple pleasure. In a world of suffering, these moments matter. This isn't denial, it's perspective. Yes, terrible things happen. Yes, life is hard. But beautiful moments exist alongside the tragedy. If you're too focused on fixing what's wrong or raging against injustice, you'll miss them. You'll miss your daughter's laugh, the sunset, the perfect cup of coffee, the cat on the street. These small joys don't solve anything. They don't make suffering disappear. But they make life bearable. They remind you why it's worth going on. They provide respite and renewal so you can continue shouldering your burdens. Moreover, the ability to appreciate simple pleasures is a skill. It's attention and gratitude in practice. When you stop to pet the cat, you're exercising the capacity to be present, to notice what's good, to receive gifts without cynicism. Life is suffering, but it's also wonder. Both are real, both deserve attention. Balance your awareness of tragedy with appreciation for beauty. Fix what you can, accept what you can't, and notice the good things along the way. This is how you endure. Conclusion. The meaning of responsibility. Peterson's 12 rules circle around a central theme. Life becomes meaningful when you voluntarily accept responsibility, not grudgingly, but as a conscious choice. You look at the suffering and chaos of existence and decide that you're going to be a force for order and good anyway. This is fundamentally an optimistic position, though it doesn't look like typical optimism. Peterson doesn't claim life is easy or that everything works out. He claims that life can be made meaningful through right action, that suffering can be justified through purpose, that chaos can be transformed into order through truth and responsibility. Each rule is both practical advice and philosophical principle. Stand up straight and you'll be treated better, but you're also declaring your willingness to exist fully. Tell the truth and you'll simplify your life, but you're also aligning yourself with reality itself. These aren't just life hacks. They're commitments to a way of being. The alternative to this path is resentment, nihilism, and destructive chaos. When you refuse responsibility, when you lie, when you pursue expedience over meaning, you contribute to the suffering you're trying to escape. you make things worse for yourself and others. Peterson's vision is that each person, accepting responsibility for their own life and aiming at the good, can incrementally push back against chaos. Not perfectly, not completely, but genuinely. Multiply this by millions of people, and you have a functioning, meaningful society. These 12 rules aren't the only rules, and they're not the final word. They're a starting point, an invitation to think seriously about how to live. The specific practices matter. Clean your room, stand up straight, be honest, choose good friends, appreciate the moment. But what matters more is the attitude behind them, the decision that despite everything, you're going to live well, truthfully, and responsibly. That decision, renewed each day, is the antidote to chaos